Welcome to QuaranTV. This is quaranTV. Ichomi yakho lockdown. I am your host with the most, uXabiso Wakwazweni. As you can see today, and I'm in the I have an array of colorful young people who will help me host the show for the future. These are the young hopefuls for the future. As the song says, teach the young to lead the way. I am your host with the most. This is quaranTV, Masifunda Learner Development. Watch the space and learn. I salute. You must salute.
Salute.
Yes, Sihle. Drawing has never been my strong point. All I do is doodling. Do this and do that.
Same here, Colossa. But ever since quaranTV edutainment program, I've learned a million activities and skills.
Not even 1,000 or 100. Million better.
Yes, a million. And drawing with Banel and Jadai is one of them.
1 in a million.
Anyway, to keep your eye on the art.
1 in a million.
Hi guys, welcome back to our session, our drawing session, and I hope you guys are having a nice time and you are safe and protected. So today we are going to do a portrait. Just put the line first. This is the middle line. It's the middle of your mouth. Just trying to imagine how the mouth looks like, and then put a line there. I've put 2 lines, one across and one there, and I'm using this line, the middle line, as my guideline. And I start moving there. That one there, did that, and the top lip always is darker than the bottom lip. So what you want to do is you just shade that lightly, like I'm just putting lines there just to remind me that this top part is darker than the bottom part. Then I go down there, like that. As you can see, my lines are not the same. These ones are crossing and these ones are there, upright. Then I go back to that middle line, start with that one and make it nice and dark, then go back and fix there. And the bottom lip is darker. Under your bottom lip there's a shadow. You can see my pencil is pointing down. It's not crossing. It's not on the side. Sorry. Just using those lines on the bottom lip. Go back and take my stamp, just shade that there. Take your eraser and pick up the light, and the top lip is that part where it's there, it's lighter than there. Then you go back and, as you notice that I like starting with the middle line. That middle line makes everything comes together. Sometimes artists draw differently. You might want to start with the top lip and complete the top lip. You might want to start with the bottom lip. You might do the whole thing at the same time. It's up to you. You can practice how you want to draw. doing that so that I know where I am and I know what I'm doing. When you are done with your mouth, you can move on to other parts. Now we're going to move to the ear. You draw something that looks like a question mark, but your question mark has a curve. Like always, you put the lines, you start by sketching first and put your nice soft lines lightly, and when you're shading light, go there, shade light there. Take your stamp if you want to. Use it to fade those lines down. Fade them out. Go back again, like we always did with the other parts. The eye, the nose and the mouth. Go back again and use your dark tones. So yes, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this session as much as I did. I enjoyed drawing, and I'm sure now you enjoy drawing at home. Enjoy playing around with your drawing, playing around with your pencil and your pen. You enjoy drawing yourself, you enjoy drawing your family, and please stay safe and stay at home. And when we open, show us your drawings. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ibanati Pituli.
And I am Anati Changa. Our communities are infested with crime of gender-based violence, and we seldom talk about it.
Yes, you are right, Anati. Especially crimes related to young people like ourselves. Either we don't know how to act when violated, we keep quiet, or retaliate.
Enough from us. Let's give our favorite educationalist to give more insight into the matter.
Here is Andisiwe Mbelekane to destroy all myths about gender-based violence.
Hello and welcome to another gender-based violence education episode. My name is still Andisiwe Mbelekane, and today I want us to go through the misconceptions and myths about gender-based violence. I will go through 10 of them in no particular order. It's just the most famous or the most common misconceptions about gender-based violence. So the first one, I'll be reading them from my laptop. So the first one is gender-based violence is mainly caused by substance abuse such as drugs and alcohol. That is a myth. We cannot blame alcohol and drugs for violent behavior. Yes, it can increase the risks of abuse, as it can lower the self-control of the perpetrator and also maybe increase the chances of the victim, making the victim more vulnerable to abuse. But we cannot blame alcohol and the victim for gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is unacceptable in all costs. The second one would be sexual assault is mostly committed by a stranger, which is also a myth. In most cases, the perpetrator or the person who commits sexual assault is known to the victim. In most cases, it's a partner or a family member. So it's total opposite, that it's a stranger that is most likely to commit sexual assault. The third one would be people deserve to be beaten up for provoking violence. That is not true. People must be able to resolve conflicts. People must be able to resolve conflict in a peaceful and non-violent manner. No one deserves to be beaten up, as that is a crime to assault someone. The fourth one, so number 4, would be survivors of sexual assault are responsible for what happened to them and are capable of preventing it. That is a myth. That is not true. You cannot prevent abuse as a victim. There's nothing you could have done. The problem is with the perpetrator. So it's not the clothes you wear, it's not the place you are at. The problem is not with the victim, and we should never blame the victim for sexual assault. So it's a myth to say that the victims could have prevented the abuse, or to say that they could have prevented the rape, or they are capable of preventing it, or they are responsible for it. So our fifth one would be a boy cannot rape his girlfriend, or a husband cannot rape his wife. That is a myth. Any forceful sexual intercourse is rape, whether people are married or not, whether people are in a relationship or not. There should always be consent from both parties, and also consent is reversible, so someone can agree now and later change their mind. That is within their rights. So any forceful intercourse without consent is rape. The sixth one, number 6, would be gender-based violence includes physical abuse, only includes physical abuse, and that is not true. We've said before that gender-based violence could be in the forms of emotional abuse, verbal abuse, economic abuse even, and also sexual abuse. So if someone does not physically hurt you, but they mistreat you, they belittle you, they threaten to hurt you, that is abuse on its own. Number 7, domestic violence or gender-based violence is a private matter. It's a family matter, and that is a myth. It is not a private matter, as it is a human rights violation and it's against the law. So it cancels it as a private matter that should be dealt only by family members. And those misconceptions are the reason why gender-based violence does not stop, because we always say it's a family matter, people should not know, and all that stuff. The 8th one, number 8, perpetrators cannot control their anger. This is not true also. It's a myth, because people choose violence as a sign of exerting power and control over other people. So it's a myth to say people cannot control their anger, but they choose violence as a way of exerting their anger. Number 9, there is nothing wrong with a sexist joke. That is a myth. There is everything wrong with sexist jokes and comments, because they are the ones that enable gender-based violence from the start. So these attitudes and behaviors, they contribute a lot to gender-based violence. There is nothing, number 10, which is going to be our last one. There is nothing we can do to end gender-based violence, which is also a myth. Gender-based violence is caused by norms and toxic gender stereotypes. So we could encourage an equal and healthy and respectful interactions between families, between society, and we could end gender-based violence by speaking out and not tolerating it, and making sure that we even call out our friends who are abusers. There is definitely something we can do as young people to end gender-based violence. Remember, there is always help, and should you be experiencing gender-based violence or know someone who is, here are numbers you can call.
A warm welcome to our viewers at home. I'm your host, Siliziwe Xakaka.
And I am Anati Changa. Here at Masifunde, we have created a unique experience for youth to develop.
Not only do we provide the best extramural activities, yes, the best, such as music, art, drama, we also provide computer classes with Zukile Mxeko.
Double-click the mouse, backspace, and enter.
It's coding time.
Hi everyone, welcome to another session of Code Breakers. My name is Zukile Mxeko and I will be telling you all about coding. So in our last session, we did talk about the basic introduction into coding, where we explained that computers are able to take instructions and the importance of putting those instructions into order. We did also talk about different types of devices or computers that are available, where we said that also cell phones, cars, airplanes, and even traffic lights do have computers in them. Now, in today's session, I want us to talk about another different type of computer, which we call it a desktop computer. So let's get right into it. So guys, what is a desktop computer? Probably they call it a desktop computer because you put it on top of a desk, maybe. So a desktop computer comprises of 4 parts, which is your mouse, your keyboard, your monitor, and your system unit. So this right here, we call this a monitor. So some of you may call it a screen, so we call this a monitor. So what's the purpose of the monitor? The monitor basically shows whatever is in the computer, so it displays whatever is inside the computer. So that's the job of the monitor, is to display whatever is in the computer or whatever you are doing in the computer, so you see it through the monitor. So another part of the computer is called a mouse. Why is it called a mouse? Probably it's because of it looks like a mouse or it shapes like a mouse and it has a tail. I am not sure, but they call it a mouse. So now a mouse has 3 buttons, right? You've got your left, you've got your right, and you've got your central button, which is the scroller. So basically, the left button, you use it to select whatever you want to select on the computer, and then the right button, you use it to show more options of what you want to do in a computer. So the left button is to select whatever is in the screen, and then the right button is to show more options. So the middle button, which is the scroller, is it's simply to scroll up and down the screen. So that's the mouse. So that's the work of the mouse. And another part of a computer, it's called the keyboard. So why is it called a keyboard? Probably because it looks like a board and it has keys on them. So that's why they call it a keyboard. So it's a keyboard. So the basic work of a keyboard is to allow people who are using the computer to be able to type. So you can type in anything. So you can type in from letters up until to numbers. You can also use the keyboard to move up and down the screen. You can also use the keyboard to show more options. So when you use those those buttons to show more options, we call them shortcuts. So there are a lot of different things that you can also do with the keyboard. So another part of the computer is called the system unit, which is the small part on this one, but on the other computers you may see that it's a big computer. What is this? It's a big system unit. And some of you may be calling it at home igongo, or a system unit. So it's called a system unit. So what's the job of the system unit? Basically is to keep everything that you are doing on the computer, so it stores everything there. It is also to be able to power up the computer. So basically without the system unit you won't be able to power up the computer. So you need the system unit so that you can be able to power up the computer. Another function of the system unit is to connect all of these different devices so that they can be able to work with each other. So without the system unit, you won't be able to connect these devices and be able to use them. So you need the system unit so that you can be able to connect these devices. Also, the system unit allows you to connect to other things, not just the devices, but also to be able to connect to the internet, to be able to connect to printers and so many other things. And yeah, basically that's the basic introduction of the computer. So this is the computer that we'll be using when we want to do coding. Most of the people use this type of computer. Other people use a computer that we call it a laptop. So this is the computer that we'll be using to code and actually to understand and learn more about coding. So guys, as I have explained that the system unit, you use it to power up the computer. So now the question is, how do you power up the computer? So on the top of the system unit, in some system unit you might find it on the side. So there's a small button there that you press, but you need to press it more than 2 seconds. So you need to count like 1, 2, and then you let it go. So when you do that, that's the easiest way of switching on the computer. So you can see this computer is switching on. So that's how you switch on a computer. So there are other ways of switching on. Sometimes the screen is off. So there's a button under the screen there that you can switch on to see what is happening in your screen. So that's basically how you are able to use or switch on a basic computer. So as I said, we will be using this basic computer to be able to do our coding. So we use the mouse to move around the screen, and then we use the keyboard to type whatever we need to type on the computer, and then we use the system unit to save if we need to save something, and we use the monitor to see whatever we are doing on the computer. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to quaranTV, brought to you by Masifunelena Development. Ichomi yakho ngale lockdown. Like I always say, it is not over until the curtain falls. Goodbye.